𝗠𝗜𝗡𝗨𝗧𝗘
Néné Songe, vous avez la seconde partie de ce journal.
Thank you very much, Flavien Valo-Ndongo. A herbalist in Douala is in prison after giving a concoction to a patient who later died. The husband of the deceased accuses the herbalist of being responsible for his wife's death. We'll be bringing you more details in the 6 p.m. news. One person is reported to have died in Mile 16, the neighborhood Boya, southwest region of Cameroon yesterday. And according to sources, the military attacked a group of people, mostly males, suspected to be separatist fighters. Out of fear, they fled for their lives and the military then opened fire. A stray bullet shot one dead and investigations are currently ongoing. The Director General of the National Social Insurance Fund, otherwise known by its French acronym CNPS, Noël Alain Mekulu-Vondo, has set the minimum social premium that each employer will have to pay for their domestic staff every month is 7,000 francs. It should be noted that the body announced a few days back an operation to enforce the collection of social security for household workers.
Audace Matin.
And now we talk about over 1,800 victims of flood in the final region of Cameroon who have received presidential aid. The gifts made up of basic necessities, foodstuff, household equipment, hygiene kits, and over 220 tents were distributed yesterday by the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Tanganji. Note should be taken that last August 15th, 2022, the final region was hit hard by a torrential rainfall, destroying over 1,193 houses in Mayodanai, with Yagwa, Kaikai, Imaga being the most affected. Farmlands and crops were equally destroyed, and authorities in the final region have lauded the head of state's gesture while calling on the population to avoid waste disposal in drainage systems. And now let's talk about the problem of movement in Douala. Many city dwellers do face a lot of problems living from one point of the town to another, especially with school resumption and the rains. And as such, they now have preferences as to which means of transportation to take. Pamela Kwatika spoke to some of them and put together the following report.
Normally, everybody in Douala has problems with traffic.
Douala is one of those towns in Cameroon well renowned for traffic congestion. It is a nightmare navigating through the town, especially in the mornings and evenings. A typical example is Rond-Point d'Edo, Carrefour d'Okoti, Feu Rouge, and Rond-Point 4e. The picture has even gotten worse with school resumption. With Douala being an economic hub, more of a city that never sleeps, people are always on the move, but are always faced with a lot of challenges aside traffic congestion.
The weather and then the road, they are bad roads, too much mud.
The roads are not really in good state, and then rain is added to it. It's really not easy to be moving around Douala.
Faced with all these challenges, Douala city dwellers have adopted various means of transportation suitable and comfortable for them.
To go faster, because using the car there is no route, too much traffic. I prefer the bike.
I want to take bike, like, okay, I'm coming to work, I need to be at work at 8 o'clock, I leave the house maybe at 7:30, I cannot take a taxi now. There will obviously be delays on the road.
I prefer taxis because they are comfortable and it helps in times of rain.
All eyes look towards authorities to come to their aid, especially when we talk bad roads decorated by potholes causing intense traffic in Douala. But authorities are yet to respond to the cries of the population.
And definitely talking about movement, it's been raining cats and dogs non-stop in Douala since yesterday. It's been a nightmare for many leaving their houses, even yesterday morning, especially with the floods and inaccessibility to bikes and taxis, as you hear in the following excerpt.
This morning, before leaving the house, I faced so many difficulties because of the rain. There was serious flooding in my area. I had to walk in water to arrive at the office today. It was very difficult. It was terrible. It has been raining since yesterday, Sunday, up to today, Monday morning. It was not very easy for me. I even had to take a second dress to go and change when I arrived at my office. It was very difficult for me to leave the house today.
This morning, I had a lot of difficulties leaving the house because the rain started falling very early in the morning, making transportation not easy, to get a bike and to find a taxi. I had a lot of difficulties in getting one, so I had to wait for long for the rain to cease a little bit to get a bike. And even when I took a bike, there was a lot of traffic on my way to work. So with the traffic and the rain, it wasn't easy leaving the house this morning. So, and when there's traffic like that, and especially when rain is falling, transportation cost is more and it's kind of very expensive to really get to work on time.
The rain this morning was kind of surprising too. Had plans of going. I had to be at work at 8 o'clock, but I found myself being at work at 9:30 because of the heavy rain this morning.
The rain actually blocked me and I arrived at my workplace very late because of poor transportation. The other means of transportation goes through motorbikes, And as we all know, bikes don't enter Bonanjo. So we had to trek for a long distance before we could actually see a taxi that could take us to Bonanjo. And equally, based on the fact that Wrong Point was crowded with a lot of people actually going to Bonanjo.
And for residents in the economic hub to go about their daily activities during this period, there is that need for them to acquire accessories like boots, umbrellas, just to name a few. Nonetheless, some of these accessories are expensive as compared to last year. Eric, an umbrella vendor, tells us more in the following excerpt.
This year we have only one species of umbrella that came this year. The rest are what we always see. What is new on it is just it is automatic. That one you press a button and it opens, and you press the same button and it closes. The price for one is 1,600, whereas last year it was 1,500. It depends on the quality. There are varieties that you can sell a carton for 96,000 francs. That one is the cheapest. The rest is above 100,000. The highest price on the market now for a carton of umbrella is around 150,000. Umbrellas this year are more expensive than last year. Last year's the prices are different. This one is the price for one is 1,600, whereas last year it was 1,500. People are complaining. We just tell them that prices have increased since they are complaining that we are too expensive. We are not the ones dictating the prices, so we sell according to how much we buy from the importers.
And now we talk health in this edition of the news. The World Health Organization has released a report that outlines the progress made in the fight against non-communicable diseases worldwide. And the NCD's Progress Monitor 2022 found that they are the leading global causes of death and are responsible for 74% of deaths worldwide. Since the beginning of the year, 38% of the deaths reported in Cameroon were due to non-communicable diseases. This is 70 for 100 people overall. And the document indicates that the country has set time-bound national targets based on WHO guidance, and however the country is still far from achieving the objectives set in its operational multi-sectoral action plan. The focus was on reducing the effects of key risk factors identified by the WHO, that is smoking, poor diet, lack of exercise, and harmful use of alcohol, which in turn lead to overweight and obesity, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and ultimately disease. According to the international body, Cameroon has not yet succeeded in reducing the accessibility of cigarettes. Also, the country is struggling to launch large-scale media campaigns to warn the general public about the dangers of tobacco, although efforts to ban tobacco advertising were made. And now we talk about the employment situation in Cameroon, which is characterized by the large size of its informal economy as well as a rapid increase in the labor force. This has led to higher vulnerability of jobs despite low unemployment rates. 𝗜𝗡𝗙𝗢𝗦, an orientation officer, explains some of the reasons why the unemployment virus continues to spread. Take a listen.
First of all, talking about job guarantee, we cannot guarantee a job. I don't see any institution that can really guarantee a job for students. But we are trying to put in place some mechanisms that can enable a child to easily obtain a job after his certificate. Like, for example, we are in partnership with many companies. And also at the beginning of the academic year, we usually make our students to understand that we are going to give them internship. But we cannot really guarantee internship for all our students. But we make them to understand that we are going to give them internship, and that's what we do. So we give them the opportunity to go first and try to search for an internship. In case they don't find one, then they come back into the institution, and then we try to link them to our partners companies, or maybe we give them internship in our own company. And also we can focus on the fact that most of our partners companies usually like our students because of the fact that we train them very well. We give them what they need in order to be very good in the job market.
One thing acquiring a degree in an academic establishment, and another thing getting the right professional certificates to be fit for the job market. Orientation officer 𝗜𝗡𝗙𝗢𝗦 once more.
Talking about the rate of unemployment in Cameroon, we should focus on, number one, the students themselves. So when you decided to follow a particular professional training, you need to be determined, number one. And also you need to take into consideration the institution in which you are going to do your training. A wrongly trained student is like a problem to the society in the future. That's why we are talking about quality higher institutions. Students, before going to university, for me, I can really advise them to choose quality higher institutions because they are going to give them the various capacities that they need in order to excel very well in the professional world. And if somebody really masters his or her
And out of the country, Queen Elizabeth's funeral for one day, the nation stood still. Royals and world leaders were inside Westminster Abbey, but outside there were many more ordinary mourners lying in the streets of central London and further beyond.